Today is Tuesday after Christmas. It's been a whirlwind, guys. So you get me in my Christmas jammies, and I don't even know where to start. So we went to Vegas. It was a blast. And there's going to be another video. I hesitated because I wanted to put together a whole ass video of just Vegas, but also I'm a huge procrastinator, so I don't know when that's gonna be, but I also have the rest of the week off, so maybe, just maybe, it'll be sooner rather than later. We'll see. But we had the best time. It was probably one of the best vacations that we've had. Other than Korea, it probably was number 2. There was one major obstacle for me. So we got there on Tuesday. We left Tuesday. We got there really late. It was probably around 1 a.m. And so we went straight to sleep. The next day, we had our tattoo appointments. So I didn't work out that morning because we had gotten in so late. We had just eaten and gone to bed, but we didn't get to bed until like 3 a.m. by the time we checked in, unpacked, did all that. So Rob's tattoo appointment was at 10, and I wanted to go with him. So I could not get myself out of bed any earlier than literally to just shower and go. So I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I've got the whole week ahead of me. I can work out. It'll be fine. Little did I know. So his appointment was at 10. My appointment was at 1 because we were doing different tattoo artists because we had different designs that we wanted to do. Initially, I just wanted to like pop in with him, get him set up, make sure he was good with everything because it had been 20 years since his last tattoo. So, make sure everything was cool and then, I don't know, go gamble or whatever. Maybe get a workout in. But the tattoo artist ended up being just a blast. He was a riot. So, and he was our age. So, we all of our pop culture references he got. And it was hilarious. So I ended up staying until my tattoo artist got there and then got my tattoo. So initially I had wanted a tattoo, like, I don't know, probably yay big, at the Vegas skyline and a trio of sunflowers to the Vegas skyline to represent where I met my husband in Las Vegas, where we got married. The sunflowers are my wedding flowers, and y'all know I love sunflowers. And then our wedding date on the bottom. So somewhere in between sending them the generic pictures that I had and her making the mock-up of the tattoo, it was much bigger than I anticipated. So when she showed me the drawing, I was a little taken aback, and I was hesitant because I was like, well, that's not going to fit. I wanted it on my shoulder. She's like, oh no, this is a much bigger piece. It'll be perfect right in the center of your back. So it was much bigger than I had initially wanted, but it also was perfect. I fell in love with it. And I like the idea of the stratosphere. I'll show you a picture. So this is the finished product right after she got done tattooing it. So I love the idea of the stratosphere kind of poking up on my neck. So it's kind of like a little peekaboo for like a tattoo. But I can also hide it if I want to. It's also perfectly exposed if I want to wear a tank top. I ended up falling in love with it. Her design and her detail were just beautiful. And I love it. And I still love it. And I wish my only regret about it being on my back is that I can't see it all the time. So anyway, that was a very long-winded way to say that my tattoo was much bigger than I anticipated. And when it was all done and I was asking her questions about aftercare, I said, so working out. And she said, take the week off. And I didn't know if she was kind of joking to, give me permission to not work out. But Rob later left. He's like, your reaction was priceless, because I literally like whipped around and I was like, a week? And she was like, oh. So she said that she would rather I took a week off, especially if I was going to do any weights. I said, well, I try to get an hour of cardio in a day, but I sweat a lot. And she's like, I would really, you rather didn't. And then she said, older skin tends to take longer to heal. So ideally, if you could take 2 weeks off, that would be the best. She could see my panic, and that's what it was. It was panic, because I had anticipated eating a lot of good food in Las Vegas, and that's what happened last time. And I was able to circumvent all the food I ate because I was exercising every single day, getting my hour plus of cardio in, and then doing all the walking that we were doing. So she kind of was like, maybe 3 or 4 days, but that's the minimum. I really don't want you to work out. So I was like, all right, okay. And then the next day I realized there was no way I could anyway. It was so sore, and just stiff and scabbed over, and like I couldn't even like do this. So there was no way I could do any of my regular working out. So, and it took me about a day to get that squared in my mind, because it was very difficult for me to hear that I couldn't work out in Vegas. And old me would have been like, yeah, okay, sure, no problem. But yeah, I was just like, what am I going to do? Now I'm going to have to count my calories. Now I'm going to have to do this. So I texted my work bestie, and I was just like, what am I going to do? And she's like, you know what? This is a good thing. This is you learning that it's okay to take a week off and don't work out. And this, you will see that when you get back home and get back on track, that whatever weight you gain will come off. And this is going to be the first time that you've had a monkey wrench thrown into your workout diet plan in over a year. So this is what needed to happen. I needed this challenge to show me that it's not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. It's not panic inducing to not work out for a week. It wasn't ideal, because I work out a lot now just for my mental health, but I was also on vacation, so I didn't have a lot of the stress that I would normally have. But in the end, it worked out. After that first day of panic, I kind of was like, well, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to eat what I want. And I have all of these dinner plans and all of these brunch plans, and I kind of already eyeballed what I wanted to eat, and I'm going to do it. And it is what it is, and I'll deal with the consequences next week when I get home. And I did. And I had a blast. And it was fantastic. It was very freeing not counting every calorie that went inside my mouth. It was just, it just was. And because I have a tendency towards disordered eating and all of that goes along with it, it was nice to know that I could do it. And it was what I thought would be a horrible, horrible thing ended up being a really good thing for me, I think. So, yeah. I mean, I did get exercise. We walked a lot, but honestly not, because it was a shorter trip. It wasn't as much walking as I think we did last year. But, I mean, it was enough. That being said, so we left on Tuesday. We got back on the following Monday, and I did peek at the scale, and it looked like I had gained about 5 pounds. And I thought that was a bit much because that would be a lot for, you know, a little less than a week. But I also knew that I was not watching my calories. So when you don't pay attention to everything that you're eating, at least for me, it can get out of hand real fast. And there was a lot of sugar. Because we stopped, not only did we eat out a lot, but we stopped in Wasco on the way in and we got lots of snacks at the Walmart. So there was a lot more sugar than I would normally have in my diet, but I was on vacation and I had a great time. So anyway, so there was about a 5 pound gain, what it looked like, but that was not an official weigh-in. That was just me sort of peeking on the scale. So all that being said, on Saturday, this past Saturday, I weighed in. And so the 2 weeks prior, which was my last official weigh-in, I weighed in at 178.4. This last Saturday, I weighed in at 178.2. So I technically lost 0.2 pounds, but we're going to call it staying even. So balanced out those 2 weeks, stayed the same, maintained as far as I'm concerned. So it was totally worth it. And I was able to take off what I gained. And also what happened after I got back, I think it was Thursday or Friday after I got back, I got my period. So I think that part of that 5 pound weight gain that I think I saw was actually water weight, because my period came a week early, because in my last video I talked about how perimenopause was messing with me and I was pretty sure that I was going to start a week early because I think I ovulated a week early. Yeah, I was right. So I started my period a week early, but I had forgotten about that. So yeah, I think a lot of it was water weight, and in those few days before my next weigh-in, I was able to lose it. I mean, I went back on my diet and I started exercising again almost immediately after I got home. And so, but that was only like 4 days to take off the 5 pounds. So I'm pretty sure it was my period and water weight. And either way, I am happy. I am back to pre-Vegas weight. And yeah, I had so much fun. So much fun. It was so much fun. So I'll do a whole video about what we did and all that stuff, but it was great. Okay, I have rambled long enough. This is going to be way longer than I wanted it to be, but had a blast. And yeah, I took lots of video of all the things that we did, so I will put everything together hopefully this week while I have the time off. That's the other thing. My boss decided to shut down the office this week, and so we had the opportunity to go in and work, or we could take time off with vacation time if we had it. I do not. I just took it all. Or we could take time off without pay. And I was like, I will take time off without pay. Absolutely. I would love to have some time off by myself, because while it was a great trip, I have been with my husband for 24/7 for a week. Like, I'll take some me time by myself. So I have the rest of the week off. So I am going to work on that video and get my butt back in gear from Christmas, because family's been here. My nephews have been in town, and they got here. Well, my brother-in-law, obviously. My 7-year-old nephews didn't just show up by themselves, but they've been in town. They flew in the day we drove back in. So Friday was their birthday. They turned 7. So we went over there for birthday cake and dinner, which was pizza. And then Saturday was Christmas Eve. So we went over there and we had, I make a Christmas Eve lasagna every year, and it is heavy-handed on the cheese. That's why everybody loves it, and that's why I continue to make it. So there was that, and bread and dessert. My sister-in-law makes amazing desserts. So, and then Sunday was Christmas, and that was the day I really kind of went overboard. And my father-in-law made prime rib. But before that, so Christmas Day, my sister-in-law brought a biscuits and gravy casserole, a tater tot breakfast casserole, and a cinnamon roll breakfast casserole. All three. And that's what we had for breakfast. And my brother-in-law was portioning it out, and 30 years ago now, he lost 100 pounds, and he's kept it off for 30 years now. So he's saw my transformation, and he's very proud of me. So he's like dishing out the stuff. He's like, we can always go for seconds. I'm like, I know, 1 scoop. But it was still a lot. It was very dense food. And then we had the prime rib for dinner with all the trimmings, and just, I mean, it was a lot of food in one day. And then yesterday was leftover lasagna. The kids came over, and we all just sat around, and they played with Uncle Rob all day with his RC cars and whatnot. And it was just a lot of snacking. So I'm back on track today, but I've got the rest of the week completely off of work, so I can just like focus on getting back on the diet train, which I know I can do now from Vegas. So it's just, I feel like everything is working out. I feel like I won't lose anything next week, because obviously I've been not that great this week, but it's not as big of a deal to me. I feel like I passed a test. Like, something that's been bugging me in the back of my mind for a year that I wasn't sure I would be able to pull off, which would be to do some sort of maintenance. And even if I gain a little 1 week, you know, be able to take it off the next. This is sort of a good test for how it's going to be when I go on maintenance and I no longer am choosing to lose weight. It feels like I passed a test to prove to myself that I can do this, and it is possible, and I will be able to keep it off this time. So, but yeah, it's been a good 2 weeks. I've had a really good time, a lot of food, and I was okay with it. It didn't mess with my head the way that I thought it was going to, and I'm very proud of myself. So, all right, now I'm going to stop rambling. And if you have enjoyed any part of this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will work on that Vegas video for you guys. And then I will see you probably in that one. Thanks for watching.